If I ruled the world, I love them, baby.
If I Ruled the World podcast welcomes Mike Dowd.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for driving here from Brentwood.
No, I gave Brentwood up a while back. I'm in Islip.
Oh, okay, nice.
Right next door.
Nice.
Shout out to Bubba's.
Bubba's, yeah. Oh, yeah, and they redid Bubba's just
They
recently.
did, yeah, absolutely,
They
yeah.
were shut down for like a month. I was like, what the heck?
Well, you know what it was? It was so tight in there, and there were so many people that love those humongous burritos.
Yeah, they're like babies. We called them little babies.
For sure. Yeah, I love them. Shout out to the Inferno. That's my favorite.
Nice. Well, we always appreciate someone who would come to the living room. This has had many famous and infamous people in this little living room in Selden.
Welcome.
Do you believe that?
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for welcoming me.
Cool. Well, what we want to do with you is, I talked to you a little bit on the phone, and kind of the stuff that we went over was you've done a lot of podcasts.
Yes.
There's the documentary that is phenomenal. Everyone knows about it. And I would say almost like a companion piece of that documentary is the Joe Rogan Experience and probably a few others that you did. So there's a lot of stories in there. So what we wanted to do with you is, of course, we're going to talk a little bit about the documentary because it wouldn't be a complete story without it.
Sure. And
then we're going to sort of move on and talk about what you're doing now. And we have some other questions for you. Fair enough?
Sure, let's go.
All right. So let's start out there in the documentary. I know you're a supporter of it because, I've seen, you talk about it and everything. But was there anything in there that was either misrepresented or didn't tell a complete story that you would like to say?
Well, I think I've also often said it on other people's podcasts, and I'll repeat it here. I think that one part in there about the kidnapping situation, which is disputable on my end of it, it was more of an entrapment plan by the feds, and people were like bemused, like, this doesn't seem like Dowd's character that he's going to go out now and start kidnapping people. And the reality is that wasn't part of the plan, and it was part of what was being devised by the guy that was wearing the wire at the time, and he was encouraging it. Of course, there's a clip in the documentary where I say we can throw her in the back of the car or something. I can't remember exactly what it was because I didn't pay attention. Something like that. Yeah. Well, the reason that I don't really pay attention to that because I never really meant it. Like when you go out to a bar with your friend and there's two hot chicks and the third chick is a fat chick, and someone's going to have to do the fat chick. Well, like I just wanted to get past. I'll do the fat chick. I mean, I'm not gonna, but I'll say yeah so that you'll make your move, and this way you'll feel comfortable.
Right.
And so I was just trying to get to the yeah part because I had one thing on my mind was getting to the location and checking it out. That's all we were supposed to do that day. Nothing else was supposed to happen.
Okay.
So kidnaps, murders, robberies, barnstorming, nothing was going to happen that day. We weren't there for that purpose.
Right.
Until we actually got close to the location, and then he starts saying, well, we're going to go to the door. And I said, that's not part. You don't hear any of this on the tapes. They don't roll that for you.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to go to the door. We're not supposed to be on the property. Those are the two Colombians that go into the door. We're supposed to do point, to watch out this end, watch out that end of the block in case somebody comes down, run interference with the police. And so, long story short, it doesn't seem that way the way it was portrayed in the documentary. And the other thing in the documentary that people are often surprised about that's not mentioned in the documentary is that Kenny Urell was retired for 3 years collecting a 3/4 disability pension that I got him. So
wait, he was collecting it at that time?
Correct. He was no longer my partner, quote unquote. How cops have partners.
Yeah.
Then your dad was a cop. Is that okay to say?
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Yeah, So you have partners, and they'll be your partners usually for life.
Right.
Once you become your partner, even if you go on and get another partner, you always refer to them as your partner. So
sure,
he was my partner, but at that point he was no longer my active partner, and he was retired on a 3/4 disability, collecting a pension. When he decided he wanted to do some exciting things with his life, i.e. sell drugs at a bowling alley in West Babylon.
So he was getting his pension, and then he wasn't a cop at that point.
No,
he was just
he
coming
wasn't.
back to do this work with you.
He was coming back asking me to pick him up a half a brick or a brick, depending upon the time of day and what he wanted.
Okay.
So I fulfilled his order through my connections, and now I'm a fucking kingpin.
Right. So since he's wearing a wire, that's like a mandate. They're like, this is what you got to get on tape. Is that how that works?
Well, that's okay. So we're talking about two different parts here.
Mm-hmm.
Beginning part is where he's asking me for drugs, which is not on tape.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of what brought me and he and I together to get arrested while he was retired.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I went out, we both went out on bail. And while out on bail, he ended up putting the wire on and asking me to do this kidnapping thing with him.
Yeah.
So I'm cutting to the chase on that.
For sure.
That setup there. Yeah.
It seems like the game of wire wearing is a pretty dirty one sometimes too, like where people get caught, and I guess at that point, I don't know, everyone's kind of like trying to do their own thing to save themselves by getting anything, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's quite common. I mean, it's not. I'd say 70 to 80% of all people make that decision the minute the handcuffs come out. Never mind, go on. You know, they're willing to give up their brother or their mother. You know, and I'm not saying every single person, but most will. And then when faced with the stark reality that you could spend the rest of your life in prison, you'll see how much your father's worth to you too. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen fathers and sons going to court against each other in federal prison. You know, they're selling each other out all day long. You know,
yeah, it's pretty fucked up, I guess. You know, when you, and you know, like the cliche is like, don't do the crime if you can't do the time.
Right.
But holy shit.
Well, that's how I was raised.
Sure.
I mean, for straight up.
I mean, and you took it.
Yeah, and I took it. And look, I'm not a hero for taking it. I just did what I thought was right at the time. You know, had I thought about it later on and thought I could cut a deal for myself, I would have considered it. But I didn't do it.
Right.
So I mean, and everybody has to consider it. I mean, they called John Gotti to cooperate too. I'm sure he considered it and said no, I would guess. I mean, I don't know about his son. I don't know the situation with them over there, but I'm not here to talk about others, really.
And cooperation for you would be give up other cops? Is that?
Well, they wanted a lot of things from me.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to sit down with them and speak to them to take a plea.
Sure.
So at that time, they ask you if you can be of use to them, and you tell them, well, what do I got that you want? And they'll start telling you what they're looking for, and I'm, all right, I got to go. You know, like family members and things like that, you know?
Yeah.
They'll look to take anything and everything.
Yeah, and I'm curious, too, because we were talking in the kitchen a little bit about what's going on today.
Right.
But I think people don't understand. I grew up in a police household, so I do remember, I was younger, obviously, but I remember somewhat, or maybe I was aware of the way police officers were treated back then and a little bit of the climate. But you had said in an interview that it was a perfect storm when you got hired, and there was just layoffs and then rehires. And could you just describe that perfect storm that people might not understand?
Yeah, I guess what I talk about when I try to explain the culture back then, you had the cops that were left over from the quote unquote Serpico era, where the Knapp Commission basically tried to clean house, and I guess this whole Special Operations Division, Narcotics Division was arrested, but like no one went to jail. Like 68 guys were arrested out of the 70 something, and like no one went to jail. They kept their pensions, most of them. I mean,
what happened? They just got off the job, and
yeah, basically they forced them to resign, or I don't know all the details, but very few or none went to prison.
Right.
And they were stealing. They stole 4,000 pounds of cocaine, 2,000 pounds of heroin from the property clerk's office.
Wow.
Yeah, it's called the French Connection. I mean, I don't you guys you guys might not be aware of it, but anyway, so that's another story.
Yeah.
So we just can't. So then there was a hiring layoffs, and then a freeze, and then they started to hire back again. So those that were cops at the time were scared. Scared what? Scared of newcomers. Not that they knew they had their own racket set up, whatever that was. Whether it was the corner bodega that was selling swag out the back, so the cop had a contract with them to get free food, get free diapers and formula for his family, maybe a $50 bill at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, there was 1,000 different ways of making money out there in the street. If you think of it, it was being done that way.
Yeah.
So what happened was when the new cops came on, they were not allowed to associate with those older cops, or they wouldn't share that with them. So
for sure.
You immediately felt a disconnect. They got you back physically, but you were never going to know anything about the street according to them. They weren't going to teach you their part and their version of the street.
Interesting, yeah.
So you had to learn the street yourself. And the first thing on your mind is not robbing people, and it's not like what kind of contract can I get here. You know, it's about doing the right thing. But what eventually happens is there's a clash somewhere. What? Well, you might have gave someone's contract a summons. You might have gave a store owner chased some people from buying at a pizza shop that's at a bus stop.
Oh, that you weren't supposed to because that was
That's someone's contract,
yeah.
right? Or you pulled somebody over and they went through a red light in someone else's sector, and they see you pulling a guy over, and you're going to write a summons, and the guy goes, "And that's what happened to me. Cops pulled me over." While I was pulling somebody over, the cops pulled me over and wanted to know what I was doing with the hands on their guns.
Wow.
Like they did a car stop on me while I was in uniform, and my partner was writing a ticket to some guy who blew a stop sign or some bullshit, who knows. And I'm like, wait a minute, is this really happening to us? And I was beside myself. I mean, I got dressed with these two guys.
Yeah.
Like, and they were my time on the job. The only thing is they were there 6 months prior to us.
Right.
So they had 6 months more time of street experience in 7.5 than we had. And some of them...
Just enough to get coached up.
Yeah, and some of them had daddy's credibility with them, if you know what that means. You know, your daddy's a good guy, so you're already in with the old timers because your daddy's good. And because he's your partner, he's good. So now you had two good old boys. They had the same time on a job as me and my partner. They just beat us to the precinct by 6 months. And they're walking around like hairbags, like they got the street under their control.
Right.
And it was unnerving, to say the least. And
should I have become a cop or not, Mike?
Yeah.
That my dad was PBA.
Especially like back then, like, so you figure, I think you said you became a cop in 82.
Right.
Like, what the hell was New York like? It must have been wildin'.
I was a Brentwood boy, so it wasn't like I never saw diverse cultures and some aggression,
Sure,
and some police activity, for myself included. But anyway, excuse me. But I would say my first foot post was in Queens under the L in Corona. I had no police radio, and I was out there at 20 years old. I think I had one whisker on my fucking chin, and I'm looking like this, like, I don't believe I'm doing this. I wanted to quit. Well, within a year, I became used to the street in Queens, and I was comfortable, and it was okay. I was safe. I felt safe in my uniform. Then they transferred me to the 7.5, and I had tears in my eyes. I was driving down Sutter Avenue. I should have stayed in college. I'm driving down Sutter Avenue at 6:30 in the morning, and you might have heard me say this. In the Ghetto comes on by Elvis Presley. And I'm bawling my fucking eyes out saying, what did I do with my life? I can't believe I'm doing this. I should have stayed in accounting school.
I mean, I think we all did that with our career at some point. You just did it as a cop. So.
I was scared to death. I'm like, holy fuck. But within 2 weeks, I settled in. I had a couple of homicides I had to handle, and I was there and handling them somehow. And you come out the other side of it okay. And
did you feel like you had like meaning at that point in your life, like a purpose? Like, did you? Where'd you see yourself 5 years from there? Like,
well, so being a patrolman, a foot cop in the Queens, you fall into a comfortable state, right? And then you become used to the daily routine there. And then when the ghetto changed, the real ghetto hit you, you were like, oh my God, I didn't realize that this actually existed. Like this life is real. And once you get past your first one or two incidences, you make it alive, no matter what it is, no matter how minor it is. And I say minor because it will become minor, But initially, it's just the confrontations, the smell, the noise of the street. It's just fear. It's fearful. It incites fear inside you, because you're in charge. You're like, I'm fucking 21 years old. I'm in charge here. There's men that are 45, 55, 65, which back then at 65, you're an old man, right? Yeah. But, you talk about 35, 45, 55-year-old men, you're in charge. Like, you got to tell people what to do, and the only reason you you can is because you got that badge on your chest. Which brings us to the thing about them pouring water on those cops' heads today that we saw the last 2 or 3 days. What a disgrace! I mean, we call that turban or attitude adjustment time. That's not that would have been a. But today, you're going to jail if you do something.
Yes,
No, but
cameras everywhere.
You're going to jail.
Cameras everywhere, but like, let's say that did happen back then.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
So yeah. Okay.
It's over.
Because I have a cousin.
It's over.
My cousin's like 2 years fresh on the force, and funny enough,
It's ambulances. Direct.
my
The
cousin
guy fell.
No, he
his
didn't
head
fall.
getting
He didn't fall. He resisted. He
Quote,
resisted big time.
I actually got hit once with the phone book. I got that. Yeah. I totally did.
I didn't mean anything by it. There was a bug on your head.
I deserved it.
They
I
liked you.
deserved it.
They liked you. That's why they
But
used the phone book.
I have a cousin who's 2 years in, and he's actually leaving. He grew up in Corona, and he
110 precinct.
He told me he is just. It's funny because I'm like such a new life. Like I can't imagine leaving, but because
that's what happens to me too. That's why I get arrested. I won't leave.
No, but I mean, I guess I get it because he's in Corona and I live like on Long Island, and he's just like, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of fighting with people on the force. So he's going to fucking Texas. I'm like, yeah, he's leaving. I'm like, how and he's like, it's just more money and this and that. And I was just like,
Imagine that. More money in Texas than New York City.
Yeah, right.
What a fucking low life.
It's crazy
job.
that
Scumbag.
the salaries are as low as they are in New York City. I mean,
you can stick around and make some money. Don't let but you got to stick around.
Right, but why you wouldn't like out of the gate at least make what the
living wage like $15? No,
you're given a gun
Bernie?
and training $50,000 something a year, $60,000 just to be.
I don't know what goes on today, but it wasn't like that when I started. It was $17,000.
Yeah.
So
how could you not fight that temptation? Like, even like I was telling you, like cops in Mexico that deal with cartels. It's like, how much do you make? It's like, okay, here's 10 times what you make, and it's just like you're that duality of just like.
Well, and I don't know anything about Mexico, but I can only envision from what I know about when I was a cop. If it's flowing the way it's flowing across them borders, those guys are making big money. But really they it's not really like a police force then. It's like it's owned. It's like it's its own gang. I mean, look at the reality. Diaz sort of had his own little gang of cops, right? When you think about it, and don't get me wrong, we still did police work, believe it or not. I mean, clearly, but the reality is that he had a little gang, and we straightened out a lot of his problems. Now, if the problems were the police, we had to make that choice, so that's a little different area where in them they got the army brings the army trucks over our border, make sure the shipment goes through, right? I mean, what power that is.
Speaking of Adam Diaz,
oh sure,
yeah. I mean, you're still friends with him.
Yeah,
you have the cigar company with him as well.
Yeah, well, his family owns it. His cousins. In Dominican, everybody's cousins anyway, but they're all cousins. So, but his family, Diaz's name is Adam Palma Diaz. Palma is the name of the tobacco company in the second largest tobacco company in the Dominican Republic.
So that was his family? Yeah. I'm just thinking, like, why even do what you did? But go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So he went to. I was going on these shows, and I had nothing to hawk.
Sure.
Right? You're supposed to promote something, besides your good looks and everything. And so I ended up telling Diaz, listen, I'm going around talking on all these shows and everything to see if we can. Do you know anybody in the cigar business who can do something? He says, no, I don't. I said, oh, okay. And about a week later, oh, by the way, my cousin owns a Tabacalero in Dominica.
Just by the way.
Oh, okay. So he ended up took about a year to get something going, but and then we got a lot of heat from the local police in New York. They were very upset that I was trying to turn a living out of my misdeeds. So it sort of it didn't pan out to be a very profitable venture. But
do you think it was because of the name? Because it was, weren't they called the 7.5?
Yeah. No, I think it was because of me. The cops just don't like to see that I'm taking a negative situation that was besmirched the PD at the time, and I was able to turn it into some kind of let's say, call it a living, So, and I don't know. I'm not answering for them. I'm just telling you because no one's ever actually came to me. Mm-hmm. They just talk shit outside. No one comes to you and says, "This is the deal. This is why I'm upset. You deserve a life of your own. You did your time. You should hold your head up now. You've served your penance." People don't come to you like that. They're all cowards. They make statements. They'll attack you on Twitter or something like that.
That's social media.
But you know what? It has an effect. People read it and it formulates opinions.
And I get the point. There is, I grew up in a police household, like I told you, so I understand it to some degree.
Yeah.
People may have a point, but there is a point that on some level, you come out of prison, you gotta figure out something.
And no one opened the door to me and handed me my first paycheck, for being a good guy and not taking down the entire police department,
right.
Or a couple of the wise guys I worked with, no one was standing there with a check for me. My children were on welfare. My ex-wife ended up on welfare. She went back to school, became a nurse, and supported the kids as best she could, and I came out and like a schmuck, I had nothing. I mean, when I walked out the door, I had nothing. Like I went from 4 homes and a condo on the ocean and money out of every pocket and cars and women and drugs and alcohol and vacations. And I came home to, thankfully I had a family that loved me, and,
sure.
A tight Irish family that, that my father wasn't happy. My mother wasn't happy, but they loved you and they supported me. Mm-hmm. Otherwise I would have been clearly back in prison because I really didn't want to come home.
You're right.
I didn't really want to come home.
Because like when people do come home that have nothing, some people have that support, like you said, of your family. Just imagine if you didn't. Oh, like you said,
it was on. It would have been disaster.
And I think a lot of the people that are go in and out are for that reason. It's like when you have nothing to lose, it's just easier to just say fuck it.
Right. Yeah. Well, like I assure you that most people that come out of prison, I'm not saying that I'm most, but from my experience, they don't want to go back.
Yeah.
But they just don't know how to get started again. But I mean, props out to this new initiative that I'm not fully informed upon, but like this, I don't know if they call it the second chance or this new reformation thing that they've changed some laws and they're trying to get people that come out of prison. They're trying to give them an opportunity to get a job, a real job. Mm-hmm. Not flipping burgers at $8 an hour because a guy selling cocaine and making $2,000 a day does not. All right, so he doesn't want to start at $8 at McDonald's, but the point is, he's now 10 years old or 20. Guys don't go away for 5 years or 3 years anymore. They go away for 10, 15 years in the feds. They put them away at 25. They come home 40, 45 years old.
Right.
Now they got to support themselves, rent an apartment, a house, a car, a family of kids that they haven't seen in 15 years, and they want daddy to help them out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they got to come out and make some money. You can't, otherwise they're going back.
Yeah.
They're going back.
And I think the general public has the feeling, and if I don't think about it, I'm like, go to jail. Who cares? It shouldn't be a nice place.
That's fine.
But, I mean, you're the furthest thing from a bleeding heart.
Absolutely. You know that.
Of course.
You follow me on Facebook. You follow me.
The point being that, I'm not in love with every single thing that the government would want to do, probably just like you.
No.
But people are coming back into society.
They're coming here.
90-something%
You're going to see
coming back. How do you square it where you're not saying, hey, jail is a great place to go so you can get an education and get a job and get rehabilitation. You want it to be a tough place to be. But on the other side, they come back out and there needs to be something to do that's productive because that only helps society.
Well, but if it's about society, then you should do something to better the person before he comes out. He should penance, whatever you want to call it, you want to call it suffering. No one's going to suffer in this day and age, physically suffer. Mm-hmm. Emotionally, you're torn from your family if you have one. Physically, you're going to go in there and you're going to stay to yourself, stay out of trouble. If you mix it up, you can have trouble like you would in any street. So, prison's that type of a lifestyle. You're devoid of any real sexual contact, obviously, unless you're like boys, and if you're in a male prison, and that's on you. But the reality is, you're going to be experiencing all the necessities of life, but not the wants and needs. So when people come out, you have to allow them to feel connected.
They feel a part of the
To
team.
feel connected, man.
Have a purpose.
Have a purpose, yeah, for sure.
Especially for a man.
Yeah,
Just
you want to know that. Okay, I'm not out here looking to steal cars, which that doesn't work anymore. Anyway, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think they do that anymore, right?
I don't think so.
Stealing cars are probably not a good business anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that.
But selling
Stealing
drugs
Alpines.
or sticking people up. I don't know. The point is that if a guy has a fair opportunity, you'll see less crime. And I think it's probably evident overall today, unless it's people, this pill thing today is pretty fucked up, but from what I understand.
Yeah.
And I don't really know much about how that works because those people are really weird.
The pill?
The pill people, they're really, really weird.
It's a special group.
Yeah.
I think it's just like when your body needs something, just like heroin. I mean,
No, they're weird. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the physicality. They're like manic and up and down and up and down. Not the physical. The physicalness. It's like any drug, right?
For sure.
But it's this thing I see. They go over the fucking top.
and you saw. I mean, one of the interesting things about like your story, I was telling George,
They're
was-
emotional basket cases.
I was going to say define weird,
Yeah.
but I think you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you did. but,
They're like, woo.
and you got to see something.
fuck?
You got to see something that was sad, I would imagine, because when crack hit, you saw it take over this neighborhood, neighborhoods.
Yeah. It was
And like, what exactly, like, how long does a neighborhood take to fall like that? Like, how do you pick yourself up?
So I've seen national TV.
National Geographic.
National Geographic TV, right? And in comes the crickets and the locusts,
Mm-hmm.
and then like the next day they're gone, right? And there's nothing behind.
Yeah.
That's the same fucking thing crack did.
Mm.
When I got to East New York in '83, it was a thriving ghetto, no getting around it.
Okay.
But there was structure still. By '86, it was like, whew, it was like something it ate the wall boards out of the home. Like
Right.
everything was gone. Like people were vacant.
Right.
The buildings were vacant. It was
Crazy.
How
I
many
can't
years
imagine.
span did that take, would you say?
well, I would, like I said, I get there in '83. 84, 85, crack really started picking up hard.
Mhm.
87, 88, it was fucked.
Mhm.
It was just fucked. It was. You can't explain it.
Yeah.
It was just insane. It was insane. Like every kid had a gold chain and a kilo. That's how I described the era.
Yeah.
Every kid, like between 16 and 20, had a gold chain around their neck and a kilo under their arm. That's how it was.
I'll tell you this story. I was a young kid and I was living in Flushing. My grandmother lived there, and I didn't know what this lady was, but she would always hang out in the hallway. And I'm a huge horror fan, but this lady was the only thing that frightened me because her eyes were black. She was acting in such a weird way that every time I would walk into the stairs to go to my grandmother's apartment, she might be there, and I didn't know what was going on. Later on, I knew that she was on crack, and it just always stuck with me. And years later, she got clean, and I would see her, and I would be like, it was almost like the monster changed, and she was kind of like normal, but still affected.
Yeah, affected. Yeah.
Holy shit, man. When I was a kid, and back then I didn't know. I'm like, why is this lady in the stairs looking like a fucking zombie?
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah,
It's definitely the fast track.
Yeah.
It's definitely quick. Yeah, it's strong.
Well, let me ask you a little bit more directly about you and yourself.
Right.
Listening to a lot of your interviews, to be quite honest, of what you've done, and then talking to you a little bit, and even having you in my house a little bit, you're a dominant personality. That's just who you are. It comes across in every way, except for the Howard Stern episode, but in every other thing you've ever done.
Yeah, that was the worst interview I ever did. I was on probation.
Yeah, you were a little gun shy.
And this guy's trying to get me to talk about banging chicks and snorting cocaine. I'm like, dude, what are you, crazy? I think the federal government's listening to me right now.
Yeah.
You can't. That doesn't happen. It's not. One, it's not happening, and two, I'm not going to say it is. So
Plus, you're staring at Howard Stern.
Yeah.
That can't be an easy ride.
Yeah, he's not that handsome. So I mean, yeah, I mean,
It's still weird.
yeah.
Right?
Well, he meant nothing to me. To be honest with you,
Oh, really? Yeah,
I think I'd be a little.
I'm a big star. I'm
not.
fan. Yeah.
No, I could give a fuck less. I don't care. God bless him. He was nice to me.
Yeah.
Oh, but he
he
was away for like a good part. Like
I was there when Stern started his rock and roll, talking about dick and ass. I was there for all that stuff. But I don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm nonplussed by that.
How'd you end up on
I'm
that show?
nonplussed by that stuff. You know, I hate to say this because this is not really when you are the personality in a way. Nothing impresses people that have been through
Sure.
what you've been through.
For sure.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking at this fucking guy saying to myself, yeah, all right, Howard. He doesn't know the questions to ask me. Gary.
Yeah. Who's Gary?
No, Artie. Artie Lang was
Artie.
out on a heroin fucking tear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they couldn't find him to pump the questions in the story.
Okay.
So he was gone, and they're missing him, and they were unprepared for the interview.
Probably would have been better with Artie. That's a good point.
Yeah, so-
Artie, because Artie's a real dude.
Yeah.
Artie's a real guy, and I mean,
and then
obviously-
Robin Quivens, he asks Robin, "What do you think? Is Mike a good-looking guy?" And she goes, I wouldn't do him.
Yeah.
Bitch, I wouldn't even consider you. What are you fucking
Yeah.
kidding me? And 88% of the broads would bang me. I mean, just at least something.
We actually took a poll in Selden
Yeah.
before you got here.
It was
and
88.
88.
Yeah, it was
88.
Yeah.
Even my mom, who lived down the block.
Well, I can tell you, everybody on Instagram.
But allow me to press on with my question. What I'm getting at
Sorry,
is that, that's the impression that I get from you. You know, people have different personality traits,
Yeah, I
dominant,
guess.
compliant.
A1 or something like that.
Not everybody's one thing, but that's the way you come across. And you touched on a little bit even when you were here in the interview, and you said that when you were young, who wants to run into a cop? I ran into cops a little bit. What were you like growing up? Were you the guy who would push it a little bit further in all your friend group? Like if you were a window washer.
So no.
No?
Yeah.
No.
I was going to say, like, if you were a window
no, I
washer,
was
would
the
we
good
still have the
kid.
same story?
You were the good kid.
I was the good kid. And that's why I think I went off the deep end when they let me loose. You know what I mean? Like I was the apple of my father's eye.
Okay.
You know, I was the kid. I was the accountant. I was the one that was going to bring the family to the next level. So I felt a lot of pressure in that respect. And so I was like the good kid. And by that I mean I was not an angel. You know, I drank, I drove. That's what everyone did anyway. At 16, you're drinking. The minute you got the keys to your car,
Yeah.
you were drinking. I mean, you were driving and drinking. And if they stopped you, they took you home. If they felt you couldn't make it. I mean, sometimes
Right.
I don't know how they let me go. You know, but back then they didn't lock you up for stuff like that.
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't put you in a category that it's not what I thought you were. I figured you were that habitual line stepper that they say Rick James was on the Chappelle
You know what?
show.
But you could probably say that I was,
Okay.
but I was good at it.
Good at it.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
sure.
like good at it. Like so.
That would be my guess too.
So yeah, like so I didn't study very often, but I got good grades. You know, because I knew how or where. You know, like I cut corners. I cut corners.
Okay.
I cut corners all my life. You know, and the things that I did that were, let's say, on the edge of right and wrong, I did it just enough where it was definitely wrong, but almost right. You know, so I did that most of my life. You know, that's how I sort of stayed. Even though I'm a big personality, the things I did was sort of like, I might take your fucking wallet, but I'd be helping you look for it. Like, you know what I mean?
All right. Well, that sounds fucked up.
You know what I
Yeah.
No, but
I was with you.
I'm using that as an analogy, but I would never take your wallet.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what I mean? Like I would never like go too far, you know, or if I did take
Right.
your wallet, I'd give it to you back. They got $5, you know?
Yeah, like I
What the
picture
fuck? You got your whole wallet back and you're missing $5. You know what I mean? That like
in the group of friends, there's always a guy who just wants to stay out a little bit later, wants to push a little bit more, wants to, fuck them. How can they fucking be like that? And then all of a sudden you're in a fight.
Yeah, well, I would say that that wasn't always me, but there
Okay.
were times that I could have been that guy.
Right.
But that was usually, first of all, you got to realize I was a little guy.
Okay.
I was
Doesn't seem like it now.
Yeah, I know.
We switched chairs. So like, you're a little taller than I thought. You sit over there.
Yeah, no, I was a little guy, until I was 16, 17 years old. I was like the little guy in the crowd. But, I was very athletic, so I made up for it. And then I didn't get that. I got that late Irish spurt. I didn't grow till I was 16, 17, 18. Mm-hmm. So if I was around with my friends, they were the rowdier ones, and I was the more subdued guy in the background because I didn't want to get my ass kicked, and I certainly wouldn't pick a fight that I couldn't handle. So I would, I would be going for the ride until I got a little older. And when you become a cop, you think you're stronger than you are anyway.
Is that like
that's pretty
unavoidable?
Stupid,
I mean, it seems like it's unavoidable.
Well, I think part of the whole mentality of being a cop is you can't back down.
Ever. That's true.
It's really not a good thing, put it that way, because it's like going to prison and backing down. You back down in prison, then they start giving you a list of what they want for
laundry
on the commissary or their laundry list,
Yeah, go get my boxers.
Yeah, so same thing with like those cops that with the water on their head yesterday. They, and that's in the 73rd, I think. I think I heard that was the 73rd precinct. That's not a good place to get water on your head and not do something about it, because soon they'll be driving the cop car laughing at you.
Right.
Chaos.
Yeah, I mean, no one, if you get approached like that in a regular way, if someone like steps to you and you're a man and you got to step back, it's one thing. Or you can try and,
you diffuse. The first thing you try to do is diffuse.
As a police officer, there's a lot going on. You're
well, they're not. First of all, I had situations like that happen, and not directly to me, although I can't recall that it didn't, because when I was a cop, I wouldn't wait. I'd be first.
Okay.
That's one thing about being a police officer. You have to be first, because if you're second, you could be dead. Your gun can be your worst enemy. While it might be the first thing that protects you, it's the first thing that can get you killed.
Yeah.
So it's like people don't understand that sometimes. Why is this cop so spatial, so aggressive, so assertive, so conscious, so aware? Because his own weapon might be the
gun in
thing
the room.
that kills. Yeah, there's a gun in the room, and two people have the chance to get it, you or him, or there could be 3 or 4 people. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Now you said to bring up water.
Well, the water situation with the cops getting dumped on, is that what you were talking about? My situation with water. Well, we used to, when I was in the city as a cop, we used to take, we'd get assigned, like on those hot days, you'd be assigned as part of your patrol duty while you're out there handling whatever, shootings, whatever, robberies, rapes, murders, whatever the fuck's going on, family disputes, car accidents. They'd want you to stop and turn the water hydrants off.
Okay.
And that would be part of your duty because the water doesn't get to the buildings then. Like, some people are calling the precinct all day long saying, the kids are out front with the water hydrants on and the fire hydrants on, and we can't get water in the house. I want to take a shower. I got to go to work. This is the kind of shit that happens, believe it or not, every day, all day long. And so, you get the call once in a while, because, I mean, in the ghetto, they're not calling you that often for that. I mean, the police aren't,
Right.
The people in the neighborhood that want water, they'll call all day. But, you're busy handling whatever. So,
right.
But, when you see a 10-story apartment building and the guy's out front with the hydrant going, the 10th floor ain't getting any water, So that could be a pain in the fucking ass, So what we used to do is we would pull the car up and get out, and get wet, It's fucking just, tell the guys, because the kids would take the coffee cans. They take the coffee cans and put it in front of the hydrants and start steering it. They were really fucking good. I love these. They're fun. It's time to be human sometimes.
For sure.
So I was looking at that situation from a distance, saying there's definitely an open hydrant, and I'm wondering if they went over there, 1, to turn it off, or 2, to just maybe cool themselves off, and then maybe it got out of hand and these people abused them too. So, so I could see where that might have been uncomfortable. And then how do you turn off the spigot once you're getting wet with the kids? You know what I mean? I don't think that was the case here, but I could see that where I've done that in the past. I would get out of the car and just get wet. I don't give a fuck. Just get wet.
Yeah.
And they're all going, yeah, because they love me. The kids love me in the neighborhood. Officer Mike, someone would call me Dowd or Mike in the area. And then, but then when I would take and also to make them, we pull the car up, and they know, like the kids know, we want the windows to be washed and shit. So we go, and they go, and they love it because they're getting to interact with the cops. They're getting to blast the water at the cop car. So it was a way of community policing, if you want to call it, right? So we would play games like that with the kids. It was part of the games.
Yeah. I mean, some of the stuff that I wanted to talk to you about as well is what you're doing today. And I just want to let people know that, like, whether you've heard a lot of the interviews with you or whether you've spent 5 minutes with you, I mean, literally for the people listening, when you walked in the door, we got a great story. I mean, within 3 minutes, it was a great story you started to tell us in the kitchen and everything. And I think most people listening to the interviews, and Joe Rogan even said it, like, if you don't have a podcast, something's really, really wrong. And I know you dabbled. There was good cop, bad cop. There's some stuff you're working on. And I would just love to know, first of all, with your career in that area, what's going on?
So thanks for asking. And yes, because I've done so many podcasts and I've been trying to launch, and I had to stop and start with that little good cop, bad cop. I also had Mike and Mike. I started for a little while, and but now I'm being handled by a proper management team, and we're going to go forward with something with. There's a variety of companies, starting with the companies like Global and Spotify and things like that. We're discussing things with them right now.
So you would join, is it a podcast network or?
So as little as I know about podcasts, because I'm stupid, or actually lazy more than anything. So,
you've been on more podcasts than anyone I know.
Do you listen back to them?
Yeah, no. People call me and say, "You sound okay, whatever." No, but what I do is, when you're the talent, right? You just focus on being.
Yeah, you're Robert Plant.
You
I get
focus on being talent. I'm sorry. I'm such a scumbag. No, it's just that if I focus on the other shit, it can't be me, right? I mean, So anyway, but we're talking about maybe doing a scripted series in some part, and then just doing a freelance like this.
Oh, okay.
So one and or two. So we're in the midst of negotiating that. And I have a lot of content that comes to me because people know who I am, right? And they know my path. And a lot of people reach out to me, like from all walks of life, especially people that are trying to come back in life, or like I share this. I may have shared it in the past with some people on podcasts, but I don't remember. But it's only,
let's just call it an exclusive.
Let's do this as an exclusive. In the last 2 months, I've probably in some indirect way, and then directly, had 3 or 4 people that were going to kill themselves reach out to me, and I was able to get them past it, and then have dinner with them and stuff like that, because people are always looking for somebody. First of all, people that are troubled and in that state of despair look for something. They don't want to end it. They don't want to. They want somebody to stop them. Every single person. But we don't know because they're dead, right? But every single person that has lived on an attempted suicide didn't want to die. So that would pretty much tell you that those that did die probably didn't want to die either.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And so I've had a lot of effect in some ways on people. I mean, it happens to me probably once a week right now, but sometimes it'll come 2, 3 in a week. And then I sort of feel responsible. I try to give them some energy and some time. It's not like I'm so busy. I'm really not. It's just that it can take a lot on for you. You feel responsible.
Sure.
Then you're in a relationship with someone and they're going, "What's this girl doing calling you?" I said, "Well, she's going to try to kill herself." Oh, that's what they all say, how do I take that chance, So as long as I don't, as long as I'm not banging the chick, let me save her fucking life,
Yeah.
Although some of them I should have, let
Listen,
go.
it's never too late to bang someone whose life you saved.
Yeah,
the night is young, Michael.
Yeah, the night is young. We got pizza.
Pizza and a good blowjob, right?
But it's an interesting thing that you could tap into that because, with Sam and I played music our whole lives.
Oh, really?
And you get, maybe some people don't understand where people connect when there's something bad going on, and they connect to music. They connect, we've gotten I've gotten
Yeah.
people reach out to me over the
Yeah.
years of certain situations, and maybe people won't expect that. I mean, even on your own Facebook page, it says America's most crooked cop, or however you put it. But as time goes on and you're more out there is someone ready to reach out for whatever reason that you could click into someone because you tell great stories, or somebody just relates to you. And I'm curious, is that your redemption story? Like we were talking in the kitchen
Second
about
chances.
redemption and things like this.
Yeah.
Like, what is your redemption story?
Well, I first of all, I think it's always being constructed. It's always ongoing. You know, your redemption. You know, your portion of it. You know, like right now, I'm sober over 2.5 years almost. No, well, not 2.5, 2 years, 4 months, and so. I mean, I approach things with clarity now. I'm not, I'm not banging off the walls. I'm not, running and ducking and dipping and hiding. I'm just being straight out. I go to meetings. I maintain my sobriety. Yeah. But I mean, that's not really that. I wouldn't consider that redemption. I would consider that personal. That's a personal attribute that I'm trying to improve myself as a human being and be a productive member of society. But I think the redemption part is I'm always trying to help, and I've always see it's odd. See, you really don't vary that much. Like I was trying to help drug dealers, right? I mean, as odd as that sounds, I loved being a cop, but we were handcuffed, and the department hated us. We hated them. The people in the street sort of hated us. So everybody wants to be liked. Who likes you? Oh, the local drug dealer likes you because you're protecting them. I mean, this is how weird you can actually turn your mind into thinking, and I'm simplifying it, but the point is we were an army of occupation back in those days, and we were asked not to make arrests. I mean, can you imagine telling the cops, don't make arrests of the drug dealers?
It's the opposite now, right?
Well, I don't know what it is today.
I mean, just give tickets. Let's make money for the city.
Right.
Yeah.
Well. Okay, great. And that's basically what it was happening back then, because every person, like we said, had a kilo and a gold chain around their neck, and so it was ever then, which I don't know why we got off into this, but the point is that we at the time felt as though we weren't allowed to make drug arrests. So when the drug dealers on the corners, because would see us, they'd go, they have their protection today for free. They were safe.
You couldn't arrest them, so you're their protection.
Correct.
It's fucked up.
I would go to a foot post. I'd say, good afternoon, guys. There's 8 different drug dealers. I mean, it's one crew. There's 8 different guys on the corner. No one's got drugs on them, of course, but they're pointing and moving and shaking and everything's getting set up. I said, just don't let me see it. No problem. Great. What a great day they got. They got police protection for free.
I would see, I would go to, Alphabet City back in the day, and, I would see, people kind of, let's say Avenue B or whatever.
Yeah, I was there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, for sure. And there, there was, a line.
Yeah.
There was a line, and I might not have, maybe I was on that line, I'm not sure. Maybe I saw people, and I'm thinking, as a 14, 15, 16-year-old kid, thinking, how the fuck is this going on? That, if I could see it, how, but that's the way it was for a good portion of the 90s.
Yeah. Well, it was worse in the 80s. So yeah. And that's what it was like. So so you're asking a cop not to do his job because it costs the city too much money? And if you made too many arrests, you got an assignment that was not a preferred assignment, to say the least. And so, we could justify all day long what we do, right? I mean, I could sit here with your father, he'd tell me you're a scumbag for doing it. But at the same time, he'd understand why it happened. They know why it happens.
Yeah.
Because people are fallible. People are fallible.
There's no one in this room that wouldn't say you're responsible for what you do. But there's a point in looking as to how we get to these places.
Right.
And especially you, I know you've done a little bit of talking at academies, and I know you were on the cover of Blue magazine, which is a big deal. Is it called Blue?
Yeah, that was a pretty special thing. That was a special thing for me. Blue the Blue.
The Blue?
The Blue.
The Blue?
The Blue magazine.
But just a sign of maybe people being okay with looking back and saying, hey, this is what.
Yeah, they took a risk by putting me on their magazine, and of course I was overjoyed to be able to be in that situation. But they weren't easy on me in the interview. You know, they came at me like cops would, and yet they had some empathy because they happen to be union guys like your father was, and he knows what it's like when a cop gets jammed up. He's in a situation now. He's got a couple of cops being accused of some wrongdoing.
Yeah.
He sort of has to act like a mediator. He has to actually know some things that maybe he shouldn't know as a cop. Think about it, right? Imagine your father's in a position and they're telling him, yeah, I did shake the guy down. What's your father's first name?
George. Same
yeah.
as mine.
Yeah, George, I did shake him down. What do I do now? All right, shh, don't say that again. I mean, your father's a cop. He should be reported. He's going to get arrested. You know, he was just witness to a crime. A guy admitted a crime to him. Mm-hmm. But as his position as a delegate, is he exempt? You know, I mean, this is the, like I said, every time a cop puts on his uniform and goes out and interacts with the public, he could be committing a crime any second.
Yeah.
Any second.
Yeah.
He goes from being a really good kid in high school or college, and he did really good on his grades, puts a uniform on, goes down the street, grabs the wrong person, he's getting arrested himself. I mean, that's how simple it goes.
Yeah.
That's fucking scary.
You know, as much as there's training and a handbook.
That's fucking scary. You want to be a cop now? You hear that?
There's no handbook. And I know even for...
there's handbooks that they don't apply when someone's pouring water on your fucking head.
That's what I'm saying. As much as there's a handbook, there is no handbook. As much as there's training, there's no training.
Right.
And you know,
they're asking a human being to do the job of a machine.
Even for, you know, talking to my father, who I respect, you know, more than I can ever explain. He explained, you know, what some of the stuff that he had gone through as I got older. And, it's almost like you're an attorney, you know, trying to deal with cops' problems, everything from getting jammed up, like you say, or, you know, divorce, and you're dealing with a world that you understand in some capacity, but you're representing to people who don't understand. Mm. And it's as I've gotten older, as I've learned more, I've been like, wow,
how much we get more like our parents.
This
as we
is
get
incredible.
Older.
Yeah. It's a tough gig.
Yeah.
The only thing I got from my mom is anxiety in a car when I'm not driving. Other than that, I'm nothing like her.
That's a Selden special?
That's it, yeah. Real quick, I just wanted to ask him, so aside from like the whole, like, let's say the time that you were a cop, would you say the biggest problem New York had was drugs?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just trying to think it was the cops, not because the cops I worked with, we were crazy.
Or the war on drugs.
The war on drugs. Yeah, and you guys probably heard, I'm a staunch advocate of there should be zero drug laws, just zero. Just let it go.
For 100%.
Let it go. What are we actually doing? Oh, we might save one person. All right, well, we're killing others. So, you can go round and round, show me the numbers. I don't care. If someone could stick a fucking needle in their arm and not go to jail, right? Or as long as it has no dope in it. But if it has dope in it, they go to jail. Yeah. You can cut your wrists, they put you in a hospital.
Right.
You can stick a fucking wedge up your own asshole. Okay? And they'll put you in a nut house. Mm-hmm. But you tried to kill yourself. Well, shouldn't you go to jail for attempted murder? I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. So if a guy wants to do a bump and bang a chick in the bar, well, what's the fucking big deal? Let him have at it.
Right.
Yeah, you could go buy a beer. It says, or fucking get prescribed fucking oxys or whatever the fuck people.
Adderall.
Yeah. Like, it's just like, this stuff is bad.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't do anything. I'm 21 years sober.
Good for you.
But like, man, I'll tell you, I would rather be in a room with one person, actually with 10 people smoking weed than one drunk person.
Well, nothing's going to go on.
I'm just saying, like,
a lot of the world's problems might be solved.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, what do you think of like the weed laws now? They're like changing.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm not against. I think anybody who wants to use the drugs, use them. Just don't drive.
Sure.
And don't affect your children.
It's kind of basic.
Yeah, it's like if you drink, don't drive. Right? If you're drinking in your home and your children are around, make sure there's a responsible person around.
Unless you're 16 in the 80s.
Well, that's I didn't say my actions were proper. I'm just saying, we all learned, right? I paid a big price for my mistakes, huh? I'm the cleanest guy in the room, right? You know what I mean?
Probably, yeah.
I'm paid in full. At least I think I am, although we'll have to see what I did.
What was the adjustment? Like, I find it fascinating. I don't know if you keep up on TV, but Tracy Morgan has a show called The Last OG. And in this show, he was somebody who sold drugs in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. probably I think like East New York, and so he comes home today and sees how Brooklyn has changed, and it's such
like
a
Lily White.
it's like completely different. It's
like
it's
a dreamland,
fantastic show. So, what was that adjustment like to come home?
So, you got to realize that I came home when there was no cell. Like they had the brick when I went to prison, and that was only drug dealers because it was like $2,000 a week. For
and
that,
Saved by the Bell
for that.
Zach.
For that, okay. Yeah. It was $2,000 a week for that phone almost, right? And so you paid for calls coming in, calls going out. Anyway, and I didn't have one, but all the drug dealers had them. I should have had one, right? Anyway, so when I come out, it was 2004, and I remember distinctly. Because everyone's touting Giuliani. What a great job he did, blah blah blah. And I hate Giuliani, but
Me too.
Me too.
Well, let me just qualify this. He did a great job. Okay, I'm not going to say he didn't. I hate him because he said I deserve life in prison. This motherfucker says I deserve life in prison. He let the prince of the city, what's his name? I forget his name off the top of my head.
Donald Trump.
My fucking, I love him. Actually, I don't love Donald. That's not true. I like what he's doing for our country, which is a different story. But the point is that
Life in prison.
He said I should get, and I'm like, you motherfucker! He's the one who was involved with the SID, with the Special Operations Division, with all the cops robbing all the headquarters, the property clerk's office for like 6,000 pounds of drugs. Mm-hmm. He was involved in that whole caper, and not one of them got like 5 years. Like the top guy got 5 or 10 years. Was it? Half of them wrote books and movies. Popeye Doyle,
for sure.
And he's saying I deserve life in prison. I'm like, why don't you shut the fuck up, all right? And I ended up getting the 14-year sentence, which turns out to 12 and a half years. But on the other side of it, I recognized that I was walking down, I want to say I was on Myrtle Avenue in the hood, right? And it was still hoodish. Okay, 2004, it still had a little flavor of the hood in there. They probably were doing 30 to 40 murders a year in that area.
It's a light year.
No, over there, that was typically 70 to 80 murders over there when I went in. So 10 years later, they're probably down to 30 or 40, right? And but I could see that it was all about the cell phone. And I'm saying, wait a minute here. Here's a girl, a cute black girl, walking down the street at 3:30 in the morning. And don't ask me why I'm out at 3:30 in the morning, because I shouldn't have been, but I must have been on a pass. And she's on a cell phone at 3:30 in the morning. And I'm saying to myself, who the fuck is she talking to at 3:30 in the morning on a cell phone? But that's the key.
Yeah.
People could instantly be in touch with somebody else or talking to somebody else. And while you're trying to rob them, they're saying, yo, homeboy's got red PF flyers on, a white Nike shirt, and a Yankee hat, and he's running northbound on Myrtle towards the Brooklyn Bridge or something. So while you got to give this guy props for all the cleanup of the city, which I know they put a lot of pressure on people, and they got rid of guns, I guess, whatever. Me too. But that cell phone changed everything. It still did, right?
Yeah.
It's still changing everything. Right?
I was thinking of even let's say mobsters. Speaking of Giuliani and commission cases,
yeah.
Now, what is that technology like? I mean, people would walk down on the street just to get away, and have those conversations, like those Gotti tapes or whatever,
right.
And then they would bug the tires. Now it's how do you even you would have to do sign language or something.
People just rat on themselves, basically.
Yeah, they do.
They have a problem and they go on Facebook and Instagram and talk about it, or they just simply text about it. It's got to be easier to get these people in trouble these days if you're feds or state or whatever.
There's so much of a print everywhere you go. In fact, I know of a story, a guy. They were trying to catch this guy, so they gave him a Dunkin' Donuts card. Mm-hmm. The Dunkin' Donuts card had a chip in it.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Motherfucking feds.
Yeah.
The guy gave him a fucking Dunkin' Donuts card with a recording device in it. Could you imagine?
All right, so I've heard you talk a little bit about it in some of your other interviews, and I think it's kind of obvious, Your Life Should Be a Movie. And I know there was some interest and different things that you talked about, from Sony to Mark Wahlberg and everything. I'd love to just get to where you are right now. With,
so
with that Your Life story.
Yeah, the movie thing is, it's complicated. Initially, I mean, who knew this was going to come, right? I actually, it's odd. I shouldn't say that who knew this was going to come. I had a premonition at some point that this might turn into something, right? Mm-hmm. Because I've seen worst case scenarios or less interesting case scenarios turn into movies. Yeah. And so, and funny, even Urel, as we were the first time we got arrested by, we were in Riverhead lockup and we were waiting for bail, and Urel was the only time he was in jail was waiting for bail for the initial arrest. And he says, "Who's going to play you? Ray Liotta or something like that." So even back in like 1992, in the darkest day of our lives, it's May 6th or May 7th, because we got arrested on May 6th, 1992. I think May 7th, Amy Fisher shot Joey Buttafuoco's wife or something like that. So the front pages were taken from us by Gotti, thank God, and he got sentenced, I think, with Sammy the Bull. Sammy the Bull is Kenny's uncle once removed through marriage, and a cousin through marriage.
Interesting.
So yeah, rat runs through family. But anyway, so that was what going on at the time. Amy shot Joey Buttafuoco's wife, and John Gotti was getting sentenced. So that was able to take us off the cover.
Took the shine
off the newspaper, for moments at a time. Mm-hmm. But one of the things, there was an agenda by that at the time, this New York Post, I think at the time, because he wrote for every New York paper because they kept firing him, I guess. Mike McAleary, he ended up writing the book for the 7th precinct called Buddy Boys. Then he wrote another book, The Morgue Boys, and he wrote he wrote a book about my case called Good Cop, Bad Cop. But it was, so what I'm getting at is he would drive the stories in order that he would have a book to write. So he would create out of nothing. When you talk fake fucking news, let me tell you something. I know what fake news is. Mm-hmm. He put me for 9 murders. He wrote a story about me doing 9 murders in the newspaper. And they ran for it, all the local papers and the fucking news media and the cameras and the crews and the police cars. They made such a fucking scene. I'm in the feds waiting to be fucked by the feds, and he's running these articles that I had 9 bodies. They're searching. They were attributing 9 murders.
That was
Dowd.
Started by a journalist.
Yeah,
100%.
There was no piece 100%,
from a
100% started by a journalist. What had happened was, as I learned, there was 9 murders unsolved in the 7.5. There was 90 murders unsolved. But at a specific time period, I just got a brand new 9mm. And so during that period of time, Kenny and I both got 9mm because we wanted to have badass 9mm, right? What the fuck? We're making $8,000 a week between us. You want to have a 9mm. So right around that time, a bunch of bodies showed up with 9mm in them, which could have been any day of the fucking week. They just showed that we got guns that time, and during that period they tried to attribute those 9 murders to us, or at least because I got stabbed and whatever. There's a whole dramatic scene. They think that I got stabbed by a drug dealer, but the reality was that didn't happen. I fell on a bottle, a quart bottle of fucking rum or vodka. I don't remember, but didn't taste good through my belly. Anyway, and so they thought we went around murdering these people, which we didn't. We had nothing to do with it. What a scene and story that is for the movie. But this guy wrote us in the newspaper for responsible for 9 murders of local drug dealers. Like, who gives a fuck anyway? Number 1 and number 2. I didn't do it. So this is what he would do. He would create stories, and then he would quote the fucking stories in his book. And the news reports have him murdering this one and dumping him here and dumping him there and putting him back at the patrol car and taking him for a ride to here and executing them. I'm like, this guy's like, he makes the stories up, writes them in the newspaper, and then he says he's going to write a book about this. And this is what he did. And this is what he did to everybody. He did it to the 7-7 precinct with the Buddy Boys case. He did it to 73rd precinct with the Morgue Boys. So this is what the power of journalism today can do. It ruins people's lives with no accountability. Who's going to challenge him? Me? I don't have a fucking power of an editing board in the New York Times or Daily News or the Post or the Newsday behind me.
And it's almost like people think there was a golden era of news back then. And I just think people it's a quicker way to find out about it now. We see more,
Right.
there's so
It's
much media.
instantaneous, yeah.
But back then they're like, oh, it was so much better.
Yeah.
I think it was worse back then. We just didn't know.
Everyone
You had
says
no one to check it.
everything about the past was
It's
better.
better.
Everything.
Yeah,
That's it.
well. Now I'm giving you reality, and that's now. Not every writer didn't have the scruples this guy lacked thereof. He had no moral fiber whatsoever. He was a fucking zero. But that being said, he sold books, right, and that's all he cared about. He the Pulitzer Prize winner. He's a fucking liar. Everything he wrote was a lie. But
Yeah.
Anyway, but about the movie.
But your movies.
So Sony had a contract with me for 3 or 4 years now. It just expired 3 months ago. So now I've become a free agent. And now what happened was, I can get into a little bit of detail. They were trying to backdoor me and do a deal with Kenny, not me.
But what does that mean? Backdoor you into...
So they suckered me along and telling me, don't worry, we're going to get the deal done. They give me some play money. They give you some little play money. And they created a script and they called up Gillespie. The original guy, Jan Damage, couldn't turn it into a movie. He couldn't get it going.
So Gillespie, who did I, Tonya, you said.
Gillespie, who did I, Tonya, was signed on. But from what I understand, now no one tells you anything, by the way. No one tells you anything. I had to figure it all out. They have a script that's written about Kenny Urell, which is a low-life scumbag script. No one cares.
Okay.
What is compelling about Kenny Urell? Zero.
Right.
And so on comes these high-end Gillespie guy who just did I, Tonya, who made her look fairly likable.
Pretty much. And he directed it like a Scorsese movie.
Exactly. And they bring him on to direct the 7.5. What are you fucking kidding me? This is great. Well, he walks away after 6 months. I don't know why. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? But no one tells me anything. I can write the script for them in fucking 2 days. Just sit down. I can't put all the words in. I can say what I'm going to say, and I'll tell you how the whole thing goes. Lay it out. So I get an emergency phone call from these guys out in Hollywood. I won't use one guy's name. And I sit down with Ben Stiller. And Ben Stiller and I go over what he wants to do. I said, you just directed this thing upstate, the jailbreak from upstate.
Holy shit, Escape at Dannemora.
Yeah,
good.
He just directed Escape from Dannemora.
Yeah, for a second, I'm like, Ben Stiller?
Yeah.
But I forgot about that.
Yeah, he did a really good job, I thought, on that. So we sat, and I told him what I thought, and he goes, I need your phone number. So I tell the guy I'm sitting with, what do you think? Can I give him my phone number? He goes, sure. I call him the next day. I says, they're trying to fuck me. So what does Stiller do? He goes behind my back and tells the guy that he called me behind your back. I said, yeah, I called you. Then he calls me straight. I said, no, don't. The deal is this. You didn't fucking pay me when you were supposed to. We have no deal in place. You asked me to lie to Ben Stiller and tell him there's a deal still in place. It's not in place. And now I understand that you guys were trying to backdoor me with the other guy. Well, it's not. I said, no, don't lie to me. I said, you've been stringing me along for 4 years. At this point, the deal is dead. And so I may eat my fucking words. I lost about $400,000.
You don't have like an agent that does all this stuff?
They fucking boxed me out. They boxed me out.
They boxed you out.
He's my agent. The guy in the chair over here was acting as my agent. He was also the owner of the 7.5 documentary film. He owned everything. So I didn't even have an agent. He went right through to me direct, had me sign a contract with him because I was on the balls of my ass.
Yeah.
So the first contract you sign is always the worst one, right?
For sure, yeah.
Come on.
Music.
Okay.
Music
All right. So the first contract I signed, I was getting stuck in my...
We still owe Geffen Records 2 records.
First 5 that I signed.
Yeah.
Every
Okay.
contract I signed. But
What? You get it.
But
right?
now you're a free agent.
So now
What does that mean?
I'm a free agent. I have my life rights back. So that means that I'm actually shopping in a different direction right now with some TV, Netflix, not Netflix themselves, but people that are going to go to them, Netflix and Hulu and Amazon or Apple.
Yeah, man, that's the future right there.
And approach them with TV series. But it's sad because it would be an Academy Award winning.
I'm calling Scorsese.
Yeah.
He doesn't always take my call.
Let me tell you something.
But right after
Scorsese
this.
wants this. He had it in his hand. And he was doing The Irishman, so he couldn't do it. And then I understand he's finished with The Irishman, so I don't know. But he had a 3-year commitment with The Irishman when he was.
All right, I'll text him
when he was offered this.
Well, it's got everything that you want. It's got you starting out, and then what you became in the police force, and then after that you do your time, and then you come out, and it's like you paid that
There's
debt.
6
man.
fucking movies in this.
Yeah, you did 12 years. You did it's just it's
There's
an
a fucking
amazing
10-year
story.
TV series in this. If someone knows how to do it, and it's all real, and it's off the chart. It's insane. Don't forget, I have a life outside of being a police officer too. That was more interesting than being a cop.
And it's crazy too because, you're in a situation that most people don't understand, which is you can get out of this infamous situation and say, I want nothing to do with it. I'm done with it. Or I got to use this to some degree to live a life.
So
maybe you started out saying, I don't want anything
I had
to do
nothing
with
to
it.
do with this, okay? I was living a decent life. I had a nice life, a nice situation. I wasn't rich. I never would have been rich, but I would have been set for life in a comfortable situation where I would have been happy and content. But this guy comes out of nowhere and says to me, we're doing a documentary about this Mullen Commission hearing, and we want to know if you want to take part in it. I said, fuck you, fuck the Mullen Commission. I want nothing to do with it. He said, well, we're going to do it anyway, with you, without you. And I know what that's going to be like. It's going to be another fuck show against me. Probably no one would have seen it had I not taken part in it. And they would have lost their money and never made a dime, and no one would have gone anywhere with it. It would have sat on a shelf. And in August, when they do reruns, they would have showed this documentary about another documentary with me in it, because there's half a dozen now on fucking A&E and all that other shit. But the reality is that I said, I said, if he does this right, people, they might not like what we did, but I wanted them to feel it.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted them to feel like they were in the fucking car next to me in 1985, 86, and 87 and see what it was like. I wanted to explain it from that perspective of a 24, 25-year-old New York City cop and the decision-making process and the trajectory up and the trajectory down on how it was and what it felt like every day. And I said to this guy, if you can capture this and just have them not hate me at the end of this, I said, because I'm a pretty likable guy overall. I mean, overall, I'm a pretty likable guy.
Absolutely.
And I come from a good family. My dad was a firefighter. My brothers were firefighters and cops. We're regular blue collar Long Island.
How did they feel about this movie being made?
Not that happy.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get a job. People don't know that I couldn't get a job for 9 years. I couldn't really get a job. I banged shingles and fucking changed toilet bowls, and so I couldn't get a job that was steady or like we were talking about early on, coming out of prison, you need a chance, right? So, but thankfully, I had a family to support me. So, so I was basically changing sheetrock and whatever I could do. Doing work like labor work, and getting older, and so when the guy came to me, I saw that if I could get the opportunity to pull off the a Scorsese type approach to this, because I knew what it was. People don't know this, but Scorsese approached me in 1993.
Really?
He approached my attorney in 1993 and said he wants to do a 3-part TV series.
Wow.
And my lawyer says, fuck it, it's too early. He says he's offering you $700,000. It's too early. We'll get. Sure took the fucking $700,000.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
3, you stupid fuck. But anyway, that's just a true story. So, here I am in
19.
2012.
Oh.
2012 when they approached me. And I can't get a fucking job. I'm sucking dick in Macy's window. It's not working out for me. And
Good-looking guy like you.
Yeah, you know what it is. They just want you to go deep, and I'm not as good as I thought I was.
More of a
Well, 12 years in prison, I didn't learn how to fucking suck dick. Okay, what a shame. I should have. I had the chance. I had the.
Listen, if you're gay in prison, I would imagine it's
blown opportunity.
It's got to be the best thing ever.
Oh, they don't leave.
I'm just
They
saying,
don't leave.
like
They come back.
I'm just thinking, like
They'll leave the light on. They ain't kidding. They're
the
coming
dating
right back.
pool is.
I was
huge.
trying to figure out what point we would go off the rails.
Yeah,
made it
we
pretty
did it.
far.
Yeah, we did good.
We just did it.
We did good.
We did it.
But
yeah, so what did you feel like when you finally saw the finished product? Because this is
What, the 7.5 or my life?
Yeah, like I'm just saying, like you're watching this.
I went into the theater and I sat by the edge. I was ready to leave. Right, I was going to leave because I'm going to get embarrassed here. I have guests with me. I had my current girlfriend at the time who eventually throws me out, but nothing to do with that. Actually, all to do with that. It was some chick from Twitter. But anyway, so
Save it for your new podcast.
yeah, that's the other.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting at the edge of my seat. I got one foot in the aisle, and I'm sitting like this. And after about 3 minutes, I turned in my seat and just sat back like this and went, "Oh my God, what a fucking job!" Because you guys see how I am. If you don't catch me in the first 2 minutes, it's over. I'm done. You lost me. Book, broad, movie, sports game. If you don't catch me in the first 2 minutes, we're out of here. I sat there in that fucking chair, and I knew the end. I knew the ending was.
You're like, I wonder what's
the
going to happen.
ending's not going to be good here.
But the way it starts is perfect.
Yeah, I guess. I don't remember.
I rewatched it.
I don't remember how
The hearings. It was the hearings, right?
Well, yeah, it has the hearings because there's like sort of a dichotomy of you very.
The girls how I love, and I couldn't. The girls love how I look in that. Every fucking girl that fucking hits on me says, "Just the way you look in that fucking hearing." Oh my God.
Very easy on the eyes.
What
Michael.
the fuck? I'm like, really? all my life I waited to get an from a girl, and now they look at me when I was 30 something years. I couldn't get it at 30 because I was in prison.
You know what? You did a lot of, I don't know, a lot of waiting. I could imagine that first shot must have been like probably dented the wall with that thing.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, that was a disaster.
What, the first relationship?
I met her in the halfway house.
Oh, I mean, where else?
That's a crime.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? It was there.
The more things change, Michael, the more they stay the same. But yeah, I mean, so you're a free agent.
Yeah.
Probably going to do a movie.
Yeah. Well, I'm working with. I guess I can say it because I haven't a written agreement with them. I'm working with Jeffrey Dean Morgan. We're yeah.
The Walking Dead.
Yeah, we're talking to some people.
I can totally see that.
I was a little uncomfortable with it. He says they'll make me look about 10 years younger, and we'll move the age line up a little bit.
Oh, you would play yourself?
No, he would play me.
Yeah, it's Negan from The Walking Dead.
Oh, you were saying you would look 10 years younger. I was thinking.
No, they would make him look 10 years younger than he looks because he's 52 or something like that, or 51.
Probably like your age, yeah.
Well, I'm 58, so I mean, I know I'm holding.
He's in the ballpark.
I'm doing better. But,
you look younger than he does.
I know.
He's great, though. He's a great actor.
He's a great actor. I hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
big music fan.
I mean,
too.
I had Wahlberg on the hook, but Sony dropped Sony. I mean, Sony. Wahlberg's picked them up and drove them to the producer of the 7.5 documentary to his house and said, "I'll get this done." And no one else in Hollywood could play Dowd but me. That was it. It ended at that, So I think we're shaking some trees again right now with some fresh, dangling some fresh meat out there, and the podcast is really looking good. Like I mentioned before, I came across a lot of material from people who reach out to me, and so we put together a collective of some really intense true crime stuff that people are going to get really, like people doing time that shouldn't have done time, and setups and all this other shit. So it should be interesting. So that's what those are the things I'm working on today, plus the podcast. And so, like in the entertainment industry, you hurry up and wait, right? You do a lot of fucking hurry up and waiting. And I've been hurrying up and waiting now for 4 years. So I'm getting a little tired and old. My hair went gray in the last few years. The little bit I got left.
Yeah, well,
you know what that's like, right?
Well, yeah, it's blonde. It's
sorry.
not gray.
Yeah.
Close enough. Yeah.
It's hard to see with the lighting here. It's so thin. It's so thin I couldn't tell.
Thanks, buddy. I think it's where we're at.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah, let's do the last question. Okay, so the name of the podcast is If I Ruled the World. So we ask all of our guests the same thing. Today we ask Michael Dowd, if you ruled the world, what would that look like?
Oh, man. Everybody be at the beach, just relaxing and loving one another. I don't, just really chill. at the beach, relaxing, watching the waves and the people walking by.
Okay, that's it.
I dig it.
We're all going to the beach.
got.
That's it.
That's all I got.
Beach
Meet you guys all at
blanket
Long
bingo
Beach.
with Michael Dowd.
Yeah, beach like.
I just enjoy. I like this.
South Shore of Long Island?
I like
Yeah.
looking. I'm a looker.
Yeah.
So thank you.
No hurt. I don't want to hurt no one.
Thank you for doing it, and thank you for coming here and giving us a little bit of the story.
Yeah. Thanks. I shall continue.
Yeah. To be continued.
Yeah. Thanks.
Peace.
If I ruled the world.